Welcome to your yoga journey with Abby, yoga at your convenience. In this short video, I will be going over deep breathing, proper alignment in traditional yoga poses, and also all the items that you will need to have a successful yoga practice. Let's get started. We're going to start with our deep breathing. I want you to gently close your eyes and start being aware of your breath. You're inhaling to 4 and you're exhaling to 4. We are matching our breath. Feeling your rib cage expand as you inhale and then slowly come down as you exhale. Make sure that you have found a comfortable seat as you are focusing on your breath. Here I am in a traditional seated pose, or maybe called crisscross applesauce. I like to sit on a cozy blanket, not too thick, not too thin, and also my grippy yoga mat here. So as you are in your comfortable seat, gently close your eyes again. Keep focusing on your breath. Inhaling to 4, exhaling to 4. Feeling your rib cage expand as you lift up, your chest rises up as you inhale, and then slowly come down as you exhale, engaging your core, engaging your abdomen, drawing the navel in towards your back. You feel yourself rise up and expand as you inhale, and then root down as you exhale. Again, inhaling to 4, exhaling to 4. Gently close your eyes once more and focus on your breath. Inhaling to 4 and exhaling to 4. And now gently open your eyes. I like to dedicate my practice every time I go into my yoga practice. So let's bring our hands to prayer at heart center. Gently close your eyes again and dedicate your practice. Send out your love, send out good energy. And this is where you do your deep breathing. You inhale to 4 and exhale to 4. Send out that love and good energy as you exhale. Gently open your eyes, release your hands. So as I'm in my comfortable seat, my tailbone is pressing down into my blanket. The sits bones, you have one on each side of your tailbone, are also pressing down into my blanket, into my mat. My core is engaged. I'm looking down at my rib cage, and that my rib cage is sitting right above my hips for proper alignment as I am in my seated pose. My shoulders are dropped down, my shoulder blades are squeezing together, and I'm lifting the crown of my head up to the ceiling to find length throughout my cervical spine, as well as length throughout my entire spine as I root down, pressing those sits bones into my blanket, into my mat, and I'm lengthening the crown of my head up to the ceiling. Keep finding more length throughout your spine. It's like you're giving your spine breathing room. You're giving it a good deep breath. There are different ways that you can come to this comfortable seat. Like I said, you can be in this crisscross applesauce, a traditional seated pose. You can have your feet out in front of you, knees bent. This is also a good seated pose to start with. Maybe you bring your feet off to the side. Maybe this is more comfortable for you. Maybe you utilize that feels more comfortable to you. You like to have that surface instead of the blanket or the mat to start your practice. Or maybe you find a chair to sit on. Maybe that is more comfortable for you. Make sure that you're utilizing all of these items for a successful yoga practice. I have my grippy mat, like I said. I have my soft blanket, not too thick but not too thin. I have my block to sit on, and then I will also show you ways to use your block as well during this video. And I have the chair there if I choose to sit on a chair instead of down on my mat. It's good to have options. All right, let's come back to that seated pose and think about our breath a little bit more. We're going to slowly walk our eyes all the way up to the ceiling, or wherever you are. Look up as you inhale, and then slowly drop your chin to your chest as you exhale. Let's do that once more. Slowly walk your eyes all the way up. Take your inhale, and slowly drop your chin to your chest as you exhale. And now let's walk our eyes all the way back. I'm going to meet you in tabletop. We're going to bring the knees to the side, come down to your knees. Hands are going to be shoulder distance apart, and they are going to be stacked right underneath your shoulders. Look down, make sure this palm is right underneath your elbow is right underneath your shoulder. Fingers are spread out wide, and let's look at our knees. Our knees are at hip distance apart. It's always the front of your hip, and then your feet are just resting on your mat. Toes are not curled. The tops of your feet are resting right below your knees. We're going to go through a traditional cat and cow pose. So you drop your belly down in your cow pose. You take your inhale, and as you exhale, round your back up into cat pose. Bring your chin to your chest, and then just slowly rock forward and back, creating some more space throughout your spine. Again, it's almost like you're giving your spine a deep breath here. Slowly rocking forward and back. And now slowly drop your belly back down and bring your head forward. Let's roll through one more time. Take your inhale in your cow pose. Exhale, round the back into your cat pose. And now let's slowly come back to that table, just a neutral spine here. I'm going to move my blanket. So I'm utilizing my blanket here because I like a little more padding for my knees. It's totally up to you if you use your blanket or if you just come down to your mat. I'm going to set my blanket to the side. And let's say I want a little assistance as I am getting up from my mat. I'm going to come all the way to my chair, and I'm going to slowly use this chair to help me stand up on my mat. We're going to come to a standing pose next. Come to our mountain pose. Feet, again, are hip distance apart. Hands are resting at our sides. Palms are facing up. Shoulders are down. Squeezing those shoulder blades together again. Let's be aware of our core as well. Draw the navel in and slightly up. Lifting your chest up to the ceiling. Lifting the crown of your head up to the ceiling. And keep finding more length as you breathe. Inhaling to 4, exhaling to 4. Let's come all the way up into a high mountain pose. Let's drop the shoulders down, reach through the fingertips, gaze up towards the ceiling. Take your inhale, and as you exhale, arms slowly release down as the chin drops down to your chest. Let's do that one more time. Reach the arms all the way up. Reach through the fingertips, take your inhale, and as you exhale, arms slowly release down as the chin drops down to your chest. And now come back up to that high mountain. We're gonna forward fold, swan dive, all the way down into a forward fold. Let's take our inhale here, and as you exhale, big arms, palms are facing down, arms are out like a T, and slowly come all the way down into that forward fold. So take a nice bend in your knees here. This is where you can utilize your block. You can place your hands on your block. You can do it the tall way, hands on block. And then slowly release down a little bit more. Maybe you bend one knee at a time. It's like you're warming up your hamstrings, you're warming up your glutes. Make sure that you're utilizing your items, again, to have a successful yoga practice. Bending the knees as you inhale, and as you exhale, lengthening the legs and driving your chest to your knees. And now let's slowly roll up, give a nice bend to the knees. And slowly roll up to that low mountain pose. Let's come to prayer at Heart Center. We're gonna move into a Warrior One pose, a traditional yoga pose. And I'm gonna talk about alignment. Your left heel, I'm gonna do it on the left side. The left heel is gonna kind of match up with the right arch, but the right foot is gonna be at about a 45-degree angle. So here, our hips are gonna be squared up to our mat, and we're gonna come all the way up into that Warrior One pose. And now I'm gonna open up to a Warrior Two, arms open up to a T, reposition the feet, as my right toes are pointed forward. Arms are out like a T, palms are facing down. Warrior Two. Next, crescent pose. We're gonna drop that right arm down. We're gonna come to the tippy toes and slowly come down into that crescent pose, a low lunge. So you always have the option to bringing the arms down and coming down to that knee. Let's say I don't want my blanket on my mat, but I want a little more padding for my knee. I'm gonna roll my mat up for a little extra padding for that knee. You always have the option for Warrior Two and crescent pose to come down to this knee. All right, so let's come back up to our crescent pose. We are at Warrior One, and now opening up again to Warrior Two. Making sure that this left knee is sitting right above that left ankle. We always stack up our joints to make sure that we are protecting them. So we went through a low mountain, high mountain, Warrior One, Warrior Two, and crescent pose. And we also went through just having a nice comfortable seat on your mat. I like to start my practice and end my practice the same. So here, we're coming back to the seated pose to end our practice. Let's bring our hands back to prayer at Heart Center and gently close your eyes again and focus in on your breath. Inhaling to 4, exhaling to 4. Let's bring our thumbs to our third eye, which is in the middle of our forehead, and let's bow down to our practice, remembering that intention we set in the beginning of class. We're sending out our love and our good energy. Namaste. At the end of my practice, I always end with Namaste. May the light in me bring out the light in you. Thank you for joining Yoga with Abby.